It's Pat Duckworth, the author of Hot Women Rock, How to Discover Your Midlife Entrepreneurial Mojo. And today I'm interviewing yet another wonderful entrepreneur. So my guest today started her career at IBM, following the traditional path she was given to be successful. And I love this thing about what does success mean, so I'll be asking her that. She quit her great job on paper after 11 years, feeling that she wasn't aligned with it. She started her journey to find her purpose in life and loved the process that she went through to find out her gifts, her passion, and how she can play her part in the world to make it a better place. She believes it's too important not to find out who we really are authentically. Yeah, that finding your true self in what you do. She started her first business in 2003 to help professionals who don't like their jobs and want to find more meaning in life as a life coach. After being around so many unhappy people at work, she decided to help the organizations who employed them by starting her second business. That's what entrepreneurs do. She loves helping leaders create inspiring and purposeful environments so all stakeholders are happier. She also helps them hire the right people who are a good fit for their culture. Excellent. So join me in welcoming Brooke Erol. Hi, Brooke. How are you?
Hi, Pat. Thank you. How are you?
It's a cold winter's day here in the UK, but tell us where you are, and we love to know what the weather's doing. So how is it for you?
Sure. So I'm in San Diego, and we have unusually warm weather, which could be nice, but unfortunately, it also brings us some fires, which we don't want. It's very dry.
Yeah.
It's not so usual to have so many dry days, one after another in December, but hoping it's going to go away and stop all our fires. So
yeah, stay safe.
Yes,
stay
thank
safe,
you.
Brooke.
Thank
Good.
you.
So tell me about that start. So did you leave school and go to university? And where were you then? I don't think you were in the States then, were you?
That's correct. Like, I'm born in Istanbul, Turkey, so that's where I grew up. And what I meant with the successful part was like I was giving the success formula, which said, okay, go to the best schools, get as best grades as possible, and then be happy thereafter, and go and join a company, stay there forever, and retire. So I did follow the path, and it did make me successful in that sense. But by the time I went to school and then finished college and joined my first company, which was IBM, after a few years of like enjoying the good life, good money, and great perks and great social environment and amazing training, which I still use to this day, I think my mind works in a way which wants to find purpose in life. Really, at that age, in my early 20s, I started asking, okay, what's the purpose of my life? And I did look into what I'm doing at IBM on a daily basis and how it ties into the bigger picture. And what I found was like I was bringing the best technology to my clients so that they can do the best service to their own clients. And it was a great purpose, but it wasn't aligned with who I am. So that's where all the trouble started.
Well, was there something that triggered it, Brooke, or was just this something that naturally happened to you?
I think I was even feeling in conflict with myself. And I think I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, I know some of the things that I had to do were conflicting with the values that I was brought up with. I think those were like kind of fuzzy in my mind and in my heart at the time, but now going back, it's much more clear to me that it was a conflict of the values, and also asking those big questions to myself. I knew for sure that I wasn't in this planet to bring the best technology to my clients. So that wasn't me.
So what was your next step then once you'd started to feel that conflict, that inner conflict?
So I think at the time, first of all, people were not looking at being really happy at work. So I felt kind of alone when I said, oh my God, this job is not for me, because people look at you like, are you crazy? You're making so much money. I mean, people love to be in your shoes. What are you talking about? And that was a hard place to be, but I just couldn't resist what my mind and my heart was telling me. So I had, it took me, like, believe me, like so many years until I had the courage to leave my job. At the same time, I was looking if there is something that I could find in Istanbul, in Turkey, that is more aligned with I am. And I didn't find that either. So I said, like, okay, I can't take this journey before I quit what I have right now. So I quit my company in the despair of my parents' eyes. And my mom still couldn't get over that after 18 years. She's still saying, like, how did you leave that job, really? But at the same time, at that time, my husband and I were also wanting to go and have an adventure, live somewhere abroad. I was brought up with American teachers because I went to American schools. I was really feeling close to American culture every time I came here. So we applied to the diversity lottery and we got that. So we moved here with our 6 luggage, no jobs, nothing, with a very little saving, which we thought was a big amount, which wasn't a lot, obvious, when we came here. So the journey started by quitting the job, but also like leaving my country too. So it was 2 big things at the same time.
I remember hearing a multi-millionaire businessman who went to America from the Lebanon, a guy called Nido Qubein, and he says that immigrants to America are, I think, 4 times more likely to be successful than people born in America, because they've got that drive to succeed. Is that something that you felt, that drive to do this?
I think so. Again, it really means like what success means to you. Obviously, for me, it's not the corporate titles or being promoted or having a high ego or anything like that. But to me, success meant really being aligned with myself. So I knew I had to shift, and I didn't have amazing, great answers when people ask me, okay, why are you going to the United States? Well, it was so intuitive, and there was nothing like people with left brain would understand out of that big journey. But I do look at the United States and look how it all started with immigrants. And I think once you are being so brave and risk-taking as moving to another country, that brings a whole different set of minds together in the United States, where, okay, if you take that risk and leave what is so familiar to you, there is something in you that is trying to get to a different place or try different things, have an open mind. Otherwise, I think you can't move to another place and risk all you have, which we did.
Yeah. So how did you settle on your new career and your first business?
So at first, I wasn't that brave coming here. I did look for a professional job in the corporate world, and I did work for a while. But at the same time, I had this quest to really find out what I want to do with my life and what my purpose is, what my passion is. And I was lucky to get in front of really nice coaches and career counselors who asked me the big questions. And I was even telling them, no, don't ask me those luxury questions or what I want to do with my life. I said, I have to make money, I have to pay the bills. But I'm just really so grateful to them that they stayed on task and kept on asking the same big questions. So going through that journey of answering those questions and doing the personality assessments really was such an amazing experience for me that I felt like, oh my God, how come we don't do this even at school? Like, this is the best way to start life. This is the best way to know about ourselves and be more self-aware. So I said, like, I want to do the same thing for others. So how can I do that? And in 2000, beginning of 2000, mostly coaching was a big deal. It was just starting off. And so I said, like, okay, I can do this as a coach in that platform, and went and got some training so that I can help others do the same. So that was my first business, started in 2003, called Your Best Life, which I'm still continuing to help others who are in the same place that I was, like at IBM, like having a great job, maybe making really good money, but like they don't feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
So, or they get laid off, even if they did like follow the success formula, they did everything that it's possible for them, but they did get laid off or were between two jobs. So I love doing that one-to-one connection and increasing their self-awareness so that they do something that is more aligned with them and more meaningful to them.
Yeah.
So that was my first one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, as with all entrepreneurs, the business evolves. So, how
Yes.
did you come about the second one?
Yes. So after working with so many people over these last 14 years, I saw so many people who are so powerful, have so much potential, have passion and everything, but their energy was sucked away from them because of the jobs that they had or the bosses that they had for many different reasons that are happening in the workplace, which I know you're very aware of. So I said, like, how can I have a bigger impact? I am coming from the corporate world. I saw the good and the bad in it. So let me go and find the leaders who are open-minded, who are having some challenges in the workplace themselves with employee engagement, high turnover, and help them create those environments where people are going to be happier at work. And when people are happier at work, we know they're more productive, they stay longer, they do more work. So that's why I wanted to start my second business called Purposeful Business, because once a company finds their purpose and being very clear about it and also able to share it, not like only something on the wall,
Yeah.
but really authentically care about the purpose as much as the profit, I think amazing things happen. So that's why I said, like, this is a bigger impact that I can make in the world. And to me, both of them are so parallel in my heart. One is to help people find their purpose. One is for organizations to find their purpose and actualize it. So it's just different target markets, but it's just doing the same thing, I would say.
Yeah, fantastic. So this is Pat Duckworth, the author of Hot Women Rock, talking to Brooke Erol, who's a coach for individuals and helps people in organisations to achieve their potential as well. So Brooke, you mentioned values, and this is something very dear to my heart. So say a bit more about, well, are you happy to say a bit more about your own values, what you discovered your values to be?
Yes, and I wish we just do that work really earlier in life, but I think our values change over time too, through life experience and everything. But I really value the connectedness we have around the world. I wish we know that more, that we all want the same things. And I think my biggest experience with that was in a camp that I joined when I was 20 in Italy, where we had people from 66 different countries. And that's when I was able to differentiate between politics and what people are,
Yeah.
besides the governments and the politics of the countries, because I found out everybody wants the same thing. We all want to be happy, we all want to live a decent life, and so being connected and communicating well, inclusiveness, and definitely having a heart-centered life and being more purposeful are definitely my biggest values. And I have it in front of me. I remind myself what those are for me, so that, and it makes making a lot of decisions much easier, because every time you're in a split road, you can say, okay, this one definitely goes with my values, and choose because of that, and I choose because of love, not fear. And having that kind of a clarity makes life so much easier and more meaningful, I would say. And I'm sure you know that too, because you live
Yeah.
like that.
Well, and because it's one of the things that I work with my clients, because as you say, it's something that it would be great if it was taught earlier in your life
Yes,
and you could get in contact with your values and
yes.
understand, that you have core values, the ones that don't change, as well as other values at different stages of your life. And when
Mm-hmm.
you understand how to get in touch with those values, it just makes it so much simpler.
So,
And in
so true.
business, if you're going to work by yourself, it's what you say, having those values in front of you all the time. So as opportunities come up and as you're considering what you're going to do next, you're thinking, does this satisfy my values? And
Exactly.
And dear watchers, you know, if you're not satisfying your values, you're not happy.
Yes.
But then if you're going to work with other people as well, if you're going to do partnerships or joint ventures, if you don't understand your values and you don't understand the other person's values, you may very well get into conflict. I don't know if you've had any experience of that.
Yes, definitely. And you just don't always see it at first, especially my personality sees like everybody being decent and have integrity. And I always see very much of the positive of everybody that I meet. So I start with 100% trust at first. But sometimes, like even working for some nonprofits, which I'm a big volunteer for a lot of them, it is sometimes disappointing to see over time that we don't share the same values. And that's where I had a lot of issues of like figuring it out in my younger years. But now, just for what you said too, because I have much more clarity, it is easier for me to stay away and say no to those type of work. And it just does happen to me once in a while. But I think because I'm so true to myself now, I found a lot of people in my network who are sharing the same values, and I love them, and I feel very lucky to have them in my life. So I'm lucky in many, many ways. I'm blessed to have them in my life.
But when you've got that clarity about your values, I think then you attract other people with those values to you, and they're the ones that you want to spend time with because they're supporting what you're doing. They understand you so much quicker because, you know, they're just on that same wavelength. So is work around values something that you do very early on in your work with clients?
Yes, definitely. The strengths that they have, the values are one of the first exercises we go through, definitely, because that's really starts us off in a good, like a fundamental place where they can see that. And a lot of us, like when I was doing all this work for the first time, I knew kind of that intuitively, but when you do the work and it's verified, and even if you knew it, like with some test or somebody helping you out, finding those out again, or verifying them helps a lot, and you can just really be more clear about them and how you use them in your work too.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a question that I'm very interested in at the moment. How do you define success in your business now?
I think I don't even separate business from my personal life. I feel like the success comes to me when I feel like I am totally in alignment with myself, which means with my values, my passion, my gifts, and everything I do is in integrity with who I am. Then I feel like I'm in the flow. I feel like I'm fulfilled. And even if I don't get to the best goals and everything that I have in my mind, it's okay, because every single day matters to me. And Paul Coelho has a great definition of success: going into bed with feeling peaceful with yourself. I think that's a great definition of success too. And it took me a while to get to my definition and feeling good about it, because I was stuck with what I was told and how I was raised, and I was always trying to measure up with that. And then I said, no, those are not my values. That's not how I define it, and I'm not going to go after it, because I knew even if I reached that point where they see me as the most successful person or the best title in the corporate world, I know it wasn't going to make me happy. So I'm lucky to find that out before I got to my 80s or 90s.
Well, you know, you did better than me because you discovered it much earlier. But, you know, it took me to my mid-50s to just get to that point of, oh my goodness, I've reached every target that I'd set myself, and strangely I'm unhappy. And that's when you have to step back and say, so what aren't I satisfying? And, you know, in these interviews with women and when I was writing the book, that was something that came up a lot. Particularly, I think women who get to these years around their late 40s and 50s into their 60s, when a lot of things are changing kind of physically for you, but also in your life with your children or your partner and life circumstances, and something happens that makes you stop and say, but am I happy?
Yes.
And that can be an important moment that you shouldn't let go. So have you got any tips for new entrepreneurs? What would you say to them?
First of all, don't expect that people who are start their own businesses don't have fear with it. It always comes with fear, but you do it anyway. So I do see a lot of my clients even feel like looking from a distance, they compare themselves and think, oh, they have done such a good job and they must have something that I don't have. And what they usually have is really a lot of patience and perseverance and doing the stuff that they love, although they are on a roller coaster all the time. And they do have the fear, they do feel like they have self-doubt time to time, but they do it anyways because they still have a lot of belief in what they do. I think that would be the main thing, which I would have told myself 14 years ago, or to any entrepreneurs that I see today. It's just being true to who you are and what you believe in, and don't waiting for approvals from people around you. And a lot of people are afraid as you are, and they want to keep you at a safe place like they do for themselves, but you can't listen to them. You have to listen to yourself.
That's great advice. And I would definitely say don't accept other people's measures of success for you.
Yes.
So the people who say to you, and trust me, this happens all the time if you haven't had it already, so how many clients have you got? How much money are you making? How many books have you sold? How many are on your course? And these are the things that people want to measure because they're in that mindset of let's measure everything without measuring, are you happy? Are you doing what you want to do? Are you satisfying your values?
Yes, so true, so true. I love that. I love that, so true. Yes.
So Brooke, anybody watching, if they'd like to find out more about you or they want to contact you, ask you any questions, how can they do that?
Sure. I can give you the website names because I have contact forms in both of them. That will be easier, I think.
Yeah.
The purpose for individuals is really related to my website, which is called Your Best Life Inc. So INC at the end, yourbestlifeinc.com. And the other one is purposeful.business, no .com at the end, because people are not used to that type of web names, but it is only purposeful.business, where it's mostly for organizations and leaders to do a more purposeful business. So that will be the easiest way to contact.
Lovely. And those links will have been appearing at the bottom of the screen just to make it super easy if you want to find out more about Brooke and the wonderful work that she does. Thank you so much, Brooke, for your time and for sharing all of that wisdom with us.
And thank you so much for your time too. I love to speak about this, so loved your questions too. Thank you, Pat. Thanks for being on the same path like I am and sharing all this too. I appreciate that.
And I'm very much hoping I'm going to see you here in Europe early in 2018.
I hope so too. Okay. Thank you, Pat. Yes.
Okay. So to all our viewers, thank you for watching. Take on board all of this wisdom. Think about your values. What is important to you? What if you satisfied it would just make you so happy with every day so you can just go to bed totally at peace with yourself? That's a great way of thinking about it. And what's your purpose? What do you want that business to do for you in life, or what do you want it to do for others? Follow those guidelines and you're off to a good start. So thank you again, and see you again soon for the next interview with one of these amazing entrepreneurs.